Good evening, and welcome to the N.A.R. Comic News Network, where we shine a light on the stories other networks fear to touch. Tonight, we bring you a story of moral conviction, self reflection, and some very awkward potlucks. The United Pentecostal Coalition is grappling with a shocking new initiative, preaching against all the sins instead of just the usual favorites. Yes, friends, it seems the coalition has decided to go full gospel, and the results are proving to be as uncomfortable as an altar call during flu season. For years, the coalition has taken a firm stand against certain sins: worldliness, immodesty, and of course, dancing, because nothing says rebellion like a poorly executed cha-cha slide. But in an unexpected twist, the group has decided it's time to address the overlooked sins, and gluttony has somehow ended up at the top of the list. The problem? A good portion of the clergy, both figuratively and literally, find themselves a little too close to the issue for comfort. Pastor Harold Bunt, who has been delivering sermons for over 30 years with a cup of coffee in one hand and a donut in the other, admitted during a recent sermon, "The Lord has convicted me," right after I finished my third plate at the church picnic. His attempt to preach against gluttony was cut short when Sister Doris in the front row started handing out leftover brownies, sending the congregation into an unholy feeding frenzy. "It's hard to call something a sin," Harold later confessed, "when it's also the main attraction at every fellowship event." The issue has divided the coalition into two camps: the full conviction crew, who insist that all sins must be called out equally, and the selective sermon squad, who argue that some sins, like overeating at a buffet, should fall under the umbrella of holy indulgence. The debate reached a boiling point at last month's pastors' conference, where a planned sermon on discipline in the faith was interrupted by a chili cook-off in the foyer. Witnesses report seeing several ministers sneaking back for seconds, with one overheard muttering, "Grace is sufficient, especially with cornbread." Adding to the chaos is the new directive to address sins like sloth, which has left some congregants wondering if napping during a sermon is now grounds for excommunication. The coalition has even started distributing accountability charts where members can track their progress in overcoming non-traditional sins. One pastor humorously noted that his chart looks suspiciously like his failed New Year's resolutions list. Meanwhile, church members are growing restless. Brother Jerry, a longtime usher, complained, "I miss the days when the sermon was about worldly music. Now I have to feel bad about the second helping of mashed potatoes I had last night." Sister Linda chimed in, saying, "If they start preaching against caffeine, I'm out." As the coalition scrambles to find balance between conviction and cafeteria lines, one thing is clear: preaching against all the sins may sound holy, but it's harder to swallow than week-old communion bread.